All right, hello everyone. This is Rabbi Bolton, and now we're going to learn the Haftorah of this coming Shabbat. As you know, that there were 10 special Haftorahs which are connected to the destruction of the temple, which happened on Tisha B'Av. There's three before Tisha B'Av, which talk about the impending disasters that would occur to the Jews if they didn't do what God wants, and they didn't. And so the temple was destroyed. But then the 7 weeks after, until Rosh Hashanah, are seven haftorahs. The haftorah is the little portion that we read after the reading of the Torah that comfort the Jews and that tell the Jews that despite the fact that they angered God, and in the case of Isaiah, that they're going to anger God, because Isaiah, he came before the destruction of the first temple. So he was prophesizing that if the Jewish people just repent and if they just start believing in God and if they act differently and they think differently, talk differently, then not only will all this negative prophecy be averted, but even more, the Mashiach will come. And Isaiah was one of the biggest prophesizers of Mashiach. And he says in his prophecies that even though the Jewish people might really anger God, but God is never going to leave the Jewish people, never. And he's never going to change the Torah, and he'll never change the commandments. And in fact, God is going to even eventually bring Mashiach, who will be instrumental in God revealing the third temple. And then all the Jews will really do all the commandments, and all the Jews will really come back to the land of Israel. And then Jews will know what it means to be Jews. Okay, so Isaiah, he prophesied for like, I don't know, 80 something years. How long was it? I have it written on here somewhere. He prophesied like 86 years. He prophesied, lived a long time. And he prophesied at a very difficult time because this was, he died, more exactly, he was killed. He was killed by his own grandson. He was killed by his own grandson, who was one of the worst kings in the history of mankind, for sure, the mystery of Israel. And his name was Manasseh. And the king of Manasseh, and Manasseh was the son of one of the most righteous people that ever lived in the world. You never believe it. His name was Chizkiyahu, King Chizkiyahu. And most of the prophecies in Isaiah that are talking about the suffering servant, all this, are talking about either Chizkiyahu, King Chizkiyahu, or the and speaking about the Jewish people. The Jewish people, they're the suffering servant of God and all, etc. But in any case, it's certainly referring to the Mashiach. That the Mashiach is going to have to bear the iniquities of the Jewish people. But why? In order to bring them all back to doing the Torah and the commandments. Okay, so here's the prophecy we're reading this week, this Shabbat, of Isaiah the prophet. Isaiah the prophet, like I say, he lived for a long time, he had a long life, but he was killed about 150 years before the temple was destroyed, first temple, because everyone refused to listen to what he had to say, and his messages were pretty, harsh over there. They're pretty harsh. But somehow or other, Mashiach is going to make it that we will not. We will listen to what he has to say. Now, there's also another thing is that Isaiah was prophesying for Mashiach, and Mashiach could have come if the Jewish people would have listened to what he had to say. So Mashiach is a constant idea in Judaism, and Mashiach could have come, but the Jewish people didn't. So therefore, it had to delay until today, until this very day. Now, interestingly enough, I know that the missionaries and everything, they bring up Isaiah and all these things, and there's Jews that know how to knock down and every one of the ridiculous arguments that they have about their misinterpretations of of Isaiah. So, I mean, I would just advise anyone that gets into an argument with one of these people is to simply ask them one big question, and that is, why do you ignore the explanations of the rabbis? Why ignore, let me move this over, why ignore the explanations of the rabbis on all of these sentences? Why? And I mean, I'll tell you why. It says in the Talmud that, JC is boiling in hell because in something really not nice, because he taught everyone to hate the rabbis. And so part and parcel of that religion of the missionaries and the Catholics and the Protestants is to hate the rabbis. That is, in fact, the basis of their religion, to hate the rabbis and to misinterpret the sentence of the Torah, especially to misinterpret Isaiah. Because through their misinterpretations of Isaiah, they negated the whole identity of the Jewish people. There's no more Jewish people, according to them. A Jew can marry a non-Jew, that's okay. And according to Judaism, that's the end of the Jewish people that happens. So there's no more Jewish people, and there's no more Torah, and there's no more commandments. And that is exactly continuing the very sins that the Jewish people were punished for. Okay, so let's learn the real explanation, the true explanation. It's talking about the true Mashiach. It's going to come and bring all the Jews back to true Jewish identity, to do the Torah, the commandments, etc. Says Isaiah, Aniya Sa'ora, Lo Yoloda, Lo Nuchama, sorry. The poor one, the troubled one, Sa'ora, Lo Nuchama, that has not been comforted. The Jewish people. Right? All these bad things are happening, they won't be comforted. Now, also, Isaiah, he lived in the time when Sancherib came along. This is an amazing story. Sancherib, he was an awesome king of Assyria, and he conquered the whole world. It said he conquered the whole entire world, and he mixed everyone up. From the time of Sancherib, the Arabs are no longer Arabs. The Arabs that were relatives of Yishmael are now no longer the same people, because Sancherib was very clever, and he conquered the whole entire world except for Israel. And he took all of the people and moved them around so that no one was on their homeland. So they were out of their homes, and they had to build new places, and they had to live in new places. So everything was all confused. And then his seemingly invincible army came and laid siege to Israel. And Isaiah prophesied, this is before Manasseh, and Isaiah prophesied that nothing's going to happen. And sure enough, the angel came and he killed his whole army, and the army had to run away. Anyway, he lost. Sennacherib lost against the Jews. And this is sort of reflecting this. That's going to say no weapons can defeat you. Nowadays, the world is little by little, turning against us. And they have all these laser weapons and fantastic drones and all this stuff. Means nothing. Atomic bombs, with nuclear bombs, with hydrogen bombs, with nitrogen bombs, with the chemical bombs and biological bombs and psychological bombs. They got all this stuff. Not going to work against the Jews. It's not going to work, because if it did, the Jews would have been gone a long time ago. Okay, here we go. Ania, says Isaiah, Ania Sa'ora, the poor, you poor one. Let's see, I have this beautiful prophecy over here, this beautiful book. Here's a book which is the Art Scroll Tanakh. I advise anyone that wants to go and buy this book, because it's very, very well done, and it has very excellent translation. So let's just see, he translates, use good words over here. Let me just have this word. It says, no, here it is. Oh, afflicted, storm-tossed one. That's good. Afflicted, that's pretty good. Ania means afflicted. Sa'ora, storm-tossed. Lo nechama, that has nothing can comfort you. Hine, behold. Anochi, I, marbetz bepuch. I will set in your bepuch. Bepuch is some sort of gems. Avanim v'yasarat. And, here we go. Maybe I'll make this smaller. One second. Let me make this smaller a little bit so we can get the whole thing. There we go. Huh? Does it work? No, I have to be a little bit smaller than that. Is there? Oh, no, it's not. Okay. So it says, Ani Marbitz, I will set down. Marbitz, I will sit down. I will set down Bapuch, I guess, is flooring on your floors. Avanim, precious stones. Yisodotecha, and your foundations, bisapirim, will be sapphires. In other words, your houses will be made. You think you're gonna get exiled. You're gonna be in a terrible situation. Don't worry about it, says God. I'm going to gather you all together, and your houses will be made from all these precious stones. V'samti kadkod, and I will put another type of precious stone, shimstotayach, which are your window frames, v'sharayach, and your gates. Oh, there, that's what I want. And your gates. And your gates, la'avne ektach, to another type of precious stones. I don't know, here he calls carbuncles or something, whatever it is. Some sort of precious stones. Oh, let's make this a little bit bigger. 1 minute. There we go. God goes with this. V'kol gevulayich, and all of your boundaries, avnei chayfetz, will be precious stones. In other words, the most precious things you'll be walking on. They'll be under your feet. V'kol benayich, and all of your children, all the Jewish people, limudei Hashem, will learn from God. They'll learn Torah, and it'll be as though they're learning directly from God. They'll feel godliness in the Torah. That's what it says. Mashiach will come and bring a new Torah. It says Torah Chadashah. There'll be a new Torah. What does it mean, new? That you'll feel the godliness in every word and every commandment. V'rav shalom b'nech, there'll be tremendous peace for the Jewish people. But tzedakah techonani, you will be founded with charity, rachaki me'oshek, and keep away from any sort of injustice. Kilo tir'i, you should not be afraid. U mipach. What's going on? My eyes are not working. Wow. U mim chita, and from any sort of fear. Chita is also fear. Chita. Don't be afraid, and don't be, how do you say, anxious. Kilo tikrav alecha, because none of your enemies will even come close to you. Hain, gur yagur. There's two different meanings of this. Hain, gur yagur means they will gather, and they will gather. The ephes moti, but they won't be with me. And another means that they will try to frighten you, but they will not be with, they won't, ephes meiti, but the fear will not come from me. Mi gar itach, who can make you afraid? Whoever will try to make you afraid, alayich yipol, will fall down because of you, because of the love that God has for the Jews. So they will all fall down. Hein, behold, ano, some people say hine, behold, anochi barati cheresh, I have created the wood carver. Yeah, a cherish, I'm sorry, I'm not the wood carver. I have cut a cherish, is like a metal worker. Nofach ba'esh pacham, and he blows with a bellows on the coals. Umotzi kli lamaseo, and he can bring out all sorts of vessels, weapons, tanks, bombs, missiles, who knows. Ba'anoti barati mashchis, I have created the power to destroy. Here it is, you're in the world, real world. But call kli yotzer alayich, anything, but any form of weaponry which is made against you, lo yatzliach, will not succeed. But call lashon takum itach lemishpat, and anyone who stands against you will be judged. Ano, yes, mishpat, tarshiu, and they will be found guilty. Zos nachalat avdi Hashem, this is the portion of the servants of God, Betzidkasam, and their merit. Me'iti nu'um Hashem, from me, says God. Okay, there's a little bit more. Hoi, behold, says Isaiah. These are the words of God, of course. Behold, called Sameh, anyone who's hungry, Lachu Lamayim. I have to make this bigger for some reason. I can't see this very well. Hoi, behold, called Sameh, anyone who is hungry, who is thirsty, thirsty, Lachu Lamayim, come to water. And explains what that's, of course, a person who's thirsty comes to water. He says it's talking about Torah. Torah is called water. Anyone's really thirsty for true spiritual knowledge, come to the Torah. Even a person that hasn't got any money, don't worry, you can go and buy it, and you can eat from the Torah. The Torah is called bread, the Torah is called water, the Torah is called milk. You can go and you can eat and provide for yourself without any money. The Torah is free, open for every single Jew, without any money, below, and without mechir, no price. Yayin v'chalav, you can buy wine. Wine is usually the secrets of the Torah, and chalav is the milk of the Torah. Milk of the Torah. It's like a mother provides food for her child, babies. God will provide you nourishment no matter how small you are in knowledge of God. Lama tishkalu kesef. Why do you have to go and spend money below lechem and you don't get any bread? And you're spending money for science, for mathematics, for whatever it is, and these things are very good. What's wrong with it? Philosophy, all that stuff, but they don't really satisfy you. It doesn't really give you the truth. The yigiachem below sav'ah. You're working in the world and you're making money and things like that, which is wonderful, but that won't really satisfy you. Shimu shemo alai, listen to me, v'achlu tova, you'll eat good. You will eat good, 1 second. V'tipaneg, and you will get pleasure, b'deshen and nafshecham, in the fat of your soul. Hatu aznechem, incline your ear, ulechu elai, and come to me. Shimu utechi nafshechem, listen and enliven your soul. V'achaltem lochem, and you will v'achaltem, and you will eat. Lochem, I will provide for you brit olam, an eternal covenant. Right, 1 second. That's right. That's right. Your soul will be enlivened, and you will enjoy. I will make you an enduring covenant. B'chazdei David, from the kindness of King David and Ne'amani. Now here he's hinting at the Mashiach. The Mashiach is going to come a direct descendant from King David. Hein Eid Lumim, he will be give testimony to all the nations. Natativ, I have made him. Nagid, a commander, a leader, a matzava, and a commander, Lu'umim, for all nations. Hein Goy Lo Teda, even nations that you don't know, Lo Ne'da, Tikra, will be called. Yes. That's right. They will be called. They will run to you. But goy, they will be called v'yorutzu. But goy, and the nations will run to you. Laman Hashem Elokecha, for the sake of God, your God. B'li kadosh Yisrael kiperach, to glorify the Holy One of Israel. Well, the kadosh Israel, to the Holy One of Israel, kiperach, who has glorified you. So what's Isaiah saying over here? Isaiah is saying the Jewish people, despite all the efforts to the contrary, will never lose their Jewish identity. And not only that, the Mashiach is going to come and gather all of the Jews to the Holy Land, to the land of Israel. And when they're gathered to the land of Israel, then they're really going to learn the Torah. They'll feel the holiness of the Torah. And all of the enemies of the Jews will not succeed in their evil plans. So rest easy, Jewish people. All of the confusion you see in the world has nothing to do with you. You will be gathered up from all of the world, and there will be peace for all mankind. That is this week's Haftorah portion.